hosting pornographic contents and sanction defaulting internet service providers, standing in the name of Honorable Alatu Shehu Tafoki. Honorable Tafoki is invited to move the motion.
Mr. Speaker, very distinguished colleagues, I remain Honorable Engineer Shehu Alatu Tafoki, representing Paskari, Kankara Sabwa Federal Constituency. I'm from Katsina State. I rise to move a motion for the need to block internet website hosting pornographic content and sanction defaulting internet service providers. The House notes that cyber pornography is fast becoming a global problem and no concrete steps have been taken to curb the phenomenon of cyber pornography in Nigeria. Aware that Nigeria is a highly religious country and all the major religions in the country have forbidden nudity and obscenity in any form. Also note that countries across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East have enacted legislation that ban pornography in their domains.
Let me put in this perspective. In a lot of countries out there, censorship has been increasing in the last, say, 5 years. Places like Asia and Africa, there are places in there that are run, their governments are, really, really bad. You could say like you have sort of a dictatorship in some of these countries. And they're going to take away your rights, slowly but surely, if they haven't done yet, and your beliefs on top of that. I mean, we already see in Africa they call it basically the extermination of those who believe in Christian values. Yeah, that's been happening in certain countries out there. You can check it out. It's been quite some time that this has been going on. Of course, the situation with those who are white in South Africa as well. They want to take over their farms and stuff like that. And we've seen this before in other African countries where they've kicked out the white farmers, realizing is that no one in their country has an education to handle the farms. And I'm not saying that these people are stupid or anything to that nature. Is that to do what they do to feed the people, and we're not talking about a little farm that will feed maybe a family or two. We're talking about something that will feed anywhere to tens of thousands to over 1 million citizens of certain countries. It is not easy at all, and if you don't know what you're doing, it becomes just literally a harbinger of death. And that's what happened in certain countries. They had to invite some of the white farmers back because they didn't know what to do. They couldn't get the farms up and running properly. So they welcomed them back in those certain countries. But what we're going to get to here is, now there's one particular country, Nigeria, and we've heard many horror stories out of Nigeria. Now what we're hearing is that they're beginning their censorship of the internet. Now, most people, this article we're going to read, are going to say, well, yeah, they're banning porn. That's good. That's great. They're banning porn. But see, that's the starting point. That is the starting point because basically it's not that it's porn. It's what they consider obscene. That's the terminology you have to put into your mind. It's nothing to do, well, actually, it has to do with sex, yes. But it also has to do with what they consider obscene. What is obscene? There are places in Asia that basically you're not allowed to tote around in a bikini in certain places. It's obscene. I mean, it's illegal. I mean, you have to be well covered. You're not allowed to wear the 2-piece. Somebody you only can wear the 1-piece. You have to be well covered up. You can't wear a thong bikini. It's to this nature. And depending on where you're going, if you're taking pictures and stuff like that, you could be arrested for that. Because they would consider that pornography. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, obscenity is the word. Because if anything could be obscene, comedy, art, books. This has been in history for many decades, and we've seen this before. I mean, everything from basically the books being burnt during World War II to basically films being censored during the Hollywood era of the Hays Code, on and on and on. I mean, this is a situation on there. And the thing is that there is a push here in this country to do the same, which is, it's wrong. So we're going to read into this, and this is from XBiz, Jeff Dana hat tip. Nigeria to ban all porn websites, penalizing non-compliant ISPs. Nigeria House of Representatives directed its telecoms regulators, the Nigerian Communication Commission, NCC, to immediately block all porn websites across the country and to enforce that ban. Local internet service providers have been instructed to block access to adult websites. Now, you hear the terminology, adult websites, not porn websites, adult websites, in an effort to uphold social values and curb the moral decay. According to PRN Nigeria, Tajuddin Abbas, the Speaker of the House, warned that penalties would be imposed on the ISPs that failed to comply with the new law. The motion was led by lawmaker Dalhatu Tafuki, sorry if I mispronounced that, who argued that pornography contradicts Nigeria's religious and cultural principles while posing a significant psychological and sociological risk. Nigeria is a highly religious country. Of all major religions, condemned nudity and obscenity, said Takafor, who believes that Nigeria needs to take a more serious steps to curb porn consumption. Many nations across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East have implemented strict regulations against pornography, and Nigeria must take a similar steps. Tafoka also cited renowned psychologists and sociologists and recited a familiar litany of concerns often floated by anti-porn crusaders, alleged increased rates of adultery, prostitution, and addiction. Yeah, they're using the lies, they're using the crib notes. This is stuff that basically has been debunked for quite some time now. I mean, there's stuff recently out of Boston College that basically had said that this is just literally a lie to that situation. I'm going to butcher this name, I'm sorry, but Jibinja Sesan, the executive director of the telecom firm Paradigm Initiative, told Nigerian news site Punch that he thought lawmakers had the wrong priorities. The obsession of our National Assembly with pornography and everything else apart from good governance is quite worrying, he told Punch, adding that legitimate media websites such as Naji.com have been shut down as part of the past crackdowns. Sisan said Nigeria has bigger problems, including those addressed in cybercrime law. Honor Tafoki may have suddenly discovered. One hopes that he will soon discover that sections that discuss tampering with critical infrastructure, cyber terrorism, and cyber fraud, so he can wield his legislative stick where it's better required. Ijik Onuyasu, a telecom executive at Abada Consult, also criticized the decision. The telecommunication industry may have the power to shut down the sites, but it needs to be balanced with citizens' rights. It is one thing to regulate content on a broadcasting platforms like pay TV, but websites operate differently. If an adult chooses to visit a site in private, should the government interfere? No, it should not. While the NCC has yet to comment on the blistering response, the edict has provoked its committees on communications and legislative compliance are expected to report back on the matter within the next several weeks. Yeah, this is a situation. This is censorship. It is total censorship, total control of the country's information structure. See, the thing is that it's the same thing when they say misinformation. that basically, that basically people, oh no, we can't have that. We can't. And we see that it's happening out there. We're seeing Twitter, Facebook, and many others go through situations like that overseas. Places like Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, especially the United Kingdom lately. I mean, you look at the United Kingdom. I mean, I just saw a video the other day where a guy was just taking pictures that he's a tourist, and the cops come up to him and says, What are you doing? He said, what do you mean, what am I doing? I'm taking pictures. I'm taking video. I'm on my vacation. And, and the cop didn't stop on top of that. And this is many times on that. And then we saw what's happening in Germany, where basically they're going out and arresting people for memes. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And if you don't think that it can happen here, it has happened here. There was a man arrested, in the last couple of years because of something he did in 2016, because he passed on a meme, that telling Clinton followers that to vote the day after election, which is a joke. You could realize that it's a joke, and he was arrested. You have to know the difference between you're making a meme, a joke, or anything like that, and what is what is true fact. And that's the thing about it, is when you take away people's right to discuss, you're taking away their freedom of choice, their freedom of speech, their freedom of press. All of this is being taken away from them. This is the reason why we fight strong and hard. You're seeing what happening with Alex Jones right now, that their channel is under attack. They have lost one of their reporters. Who did it? Why did it? We don't know, but it could be because of some of the things he has reported, especially reports on the Ukraine situation. It begins a problem when you start to shoot the messenger for the situations. And this is what's been happening lately. And this is the other reason why YouTube needs to learn, to this situation, is that you can't facilitate yourself to say, I'm an open platform, but yet we're not going to really push, these channels on. We're going to push the mainstream media up and above. So YouTube, right now, you're number one. Okay? You're number one in streaming. If you want to stay there, you want to keep that position over Netflix, you want to open up your site to the independents. For many years, going all the way back to when I started in the 1980s, independent broadcasting, independent news has been a staple to the industry. It has. Now we're in 2025. We are just become a new part of the industry. We've changed the face of the industry. They tried to fight us down left and right back in the 80s and 90s. We've gone to court on this, on certain type of entertainment, certain type of information. These are the stories you don't hear. This is the stuff that's hidden, hidden from you, because it was from a time prior to the, just as the internet was just being born. It was just starting up. It was not pushed out that this was going on. But there are those of us here still alive, still fighting the good fight. When we tell you subscribe to these channels and like and share and all this, it's important. It's very important, whether you're on YouTube or you're on Rumble. I tell all of you, do it on both. Because if you lose me here on YouTube, at least you have a backup to go to. You have somewhere where you can pick up from where you left off. Because that's what's happening. As much as we have a new president, a new administration in office, there are still those out there. They're still hanging on to their situation, trying to shut us down. We see with Act Blue, USAID, and many others, and what money they've been funneling into these radicals. We have a vote. We have a video this week also. What happened last week at Trump Tower with protesters, and most of these people were paid to be there. But I'm going to tell you this. This is a sort with out the internet and all that. This is sort of a repeat performance of what happened in the past. And the thing is, we have to be very vigilant and be careful to the situation, because there was a dark part in the 70s and 80s, and we'll talk about it in the next video, that basically, they say, well, 9/11 was really the first terrorist action here, and they talk about Timothy McVeigh and all that. No, you go back further. Weather Underground, FALN, we've had bombings on there. We just now passed the anniversary of the Francis Tavern situation, where multiple people died because there were those radicals who were protesting and became terrorists, that they wanted Puerto Rico to secede from the United States, which would basically turn them to another Cuba, if that happened. But we'll leave that for another video. So what I want you to do is comment. Tell me your thoughts about this in Nigeria. Because this is something, people say, well, it's in Nigeria, it's that old George Carlin says, there was a car crash. Where? Pakistan. Oh, fuck that. That old joke is that it's far away. But no, this is as close as it gets. When you see situations like this, you got to speak up. You got to speak up. Let us know what you think. Because basically, people, when you look to the perspective that people want to censor stuff that they consider obscene, is still, who deems it obscene? Remember that term. Who deems it obscene? Because basically, these are people that are in control. So while I have you there, besides the comment, be sure to like, share this video, and yes, hit that subscribe button. We would really do appreciate that. So until next time, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check out our other videos here this week on CuteCast TV, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.